What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today's going to be a very special episode because I actually got my mentor, who is now my business partner, going to be the one who's interviewing me. Basically, I'm going to be sharing a little bit about my story and how my mentor helped me come to the place where I am today. So without further ado, let's get straight into it.
What is going on, YouTube? Today I have beside me Harwin Francois. This is one of my best mentees, and ironically, he is my business partner, and we are scaling a 7-figure operation in the real estate wholesale industry. Now, Harwin has a very unique story. He has come a long way from having zero experience regarding real estate or any kind of business experience at all. And now he's in a position where he's running a 7-figure real estate company at the age of 26 years old. So without saying too much more, I'm gonna have Harwin tell you guys about his story on how he got started and where he's at today.
Man, first and foremost, appreciate you having me on, brother, man.
Got you.
Always a pleasure. Basketball saved my life, right? Before any of this real estate wholesaling, basketball was what saved my life. Because growing up, I grew up as a Jehovah's Witness. And growing up as a Jehovah's Witness, you're kind of only catered and focused towards, the religion, right? Preaching. So I was the one who was every Saturday morning, I'm preaching on doors, right?
Wow.
Church 3 times a week. So
yeah.
Basketball is kind of what saved me in a sense, because basketball is my one outlet where I felt free. I can actually be myself.
And what age did you, start having a basketball in your hand?
Man, I started about 14 years old.
Wow.
14 years old is when I really took it serious. One of my coaches, he seen the height, I guess, and he was like, "Man, we got something here, right?" So he made me come in every single morning. He paid for all my trips because my parents, they're immigrants. They don't know too much about American sports, so they don't know how big it is. So he paid for all of my trips, man.
That's crazy.
By the age of 15, 16 years old, like junior in high school, I started garnering like a lot of Division I interest, right?
Wow.
So
what are some schools that showed you interest?
Oh man, so I had a lot. So I had like UNC High Point. We had FGCU. That was a hometown school. I had Southern Illinois. I had a lot of mid-major Division I schools.
So who'd you end up committing to?
So out of high school, my grades weren't that good, so I went to a JUCO, Daytona State. But after JUCO, I committed to Southern Illinois.
Wow.
Which was a Division I school.
And like just for like a time range, just to give the people kind of an idea of how far you came in such a short proximity of time. Because in college, I'm assuming you were only focused on basketball. You wasn't thinking about obviously running a 7-figure real estate company, right?
No.
So what year was this when you actually transferred to Illinois and you're playing basketball there?
So around 2018, I graduated high school. So 2019 is when I'm enrolled at Southern Illinois, full-time basketball Division I athlete. Completely 2 different worlds from where I'm at today, right? Because Division I schools, they can provide you with everything. They're actually paying you to go to school, and your whole job is from 9 to 9 p.m.
That's
is
crazy.
Basketball, right?
Yeah, so it's nonstop basketball grind.
Yeah.
You're playing for Illinois. And if I'm not mistaken, I think you told me you might have even played for another D1 school as well, too.
So then I transferred over to McNeese State to finish my last couple of years.
Okay. Wow. So jumping around a lot in college, started off in JUCO, then went to Illinois, then you went to McNeese State. Yeah. And, just kind of a time range there as well, too. What year did you finish?
So my last season was 2023. So what was like 2-3 years ago.
Wow.
Right. So
this is just like the other day.
Yeah, it's not that far removed, right?
And if anything, you've been playing basketball longer than you've been playing the real estate game.
Yeah. Oh yeah. From 2014 to about 2023. So like that's when I was all basketball. Okay. Like 10 years of my life.
So at what point, and be honest, the people want to know because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people who are D1 athletes, former D1 athletes, people who might have not already made it or made it all the way to the big leagues. Right. At what point did you realize like, okay, like I'm putting my all into this, but this might not be in my post-college journey moving forward?
That's a great question, man. A guy like me, you might know, I'm super delusional, right? Super delusional, and that could be a good thing, that could be a bad thing, right? But I didn't know until I couldn't make it to the next level, right?
Wow.
So around 2023, I had a back injury. Right, my back there, I would always have these spasms, and some days I just couldn't walk. Hit me with cortisol shots.
Wow,
to numb the pain away, just so I can play. Yeah, and that's when I kind of figured out, okay, man, it's all kind of over with. I'm in my senior year. I'm averaging nothing but like 8 points, so I'm like, okay, I kind of got to figure something out. These aren't league numbers, NBA numbers, right? So that's when my mindset started to shift. I started to do the development, the mental development. Okay.
And this is like post-graduating?
No, this is like in that season, that whole 2023. Because I kind of know it's coming to an end. And now I'm in a point where I'm scrambling. I got to figure it out, right?
Got to.
Because most athletes, they don't know what they're gonna do next, right? Their whole life is catered around that sport.
Yeah.
Right? Luckily for me, I kind of had a heads up that whole 2023 season, and I'm just trying to figure out what's next.
Yeah. 2023 season ends.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you're going into your grad year. You're kind of a senior now, so I'm pretty sure you graduated 2024 now.
2023, like end of May 2023.
Okay, so you graduate May 2023. Now it's like, hey, hoop and dream is kind of over, right? What's the next step? Like, how did you end up getting into, going into real estate? Was it a complete jump? Did you, work a job in between, or what was going on?
Man, this is when my mindset and my eyes kind of opened up, right? I have 2 degrees. Keep in mind, I graduated 2 degrees.
Wow.
One was a psychology degree. The other one was a communication degree, right? So now I'm trying to figure out, okay, how do I use these degrees, right? Obviously, for my psychology degree, I was something I was super interested in. Applying to all these psychological firms to kind of go work for them. And then I got an opportunity to work at a psychological law firm called PAR.
I've never heard of that. Where are you at this point in time?
I'm in Tampa. I moved back with my mom. I'm in Tampa. I moved back. So I'm already feeling, I was on top of the world. Now I'm back to my mom's house. So I'm already kind of feeling at a low point.
In 2023.
2023, yeah.
Wow, and how old are you around this time?
I'm 23.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. I'm already kind of feeling at a low point just because, I'm back at my mom's house.
Yeah.
And the whole family is looking at me like, because they thought I was going to make it. And they're looking at me like, what's going on? So all that type of pressure that I'm going through, and it's kind of like, I got to figure something out, right? I have a brother, super close with my brother. He owns a lot of properties at this moment. He's like a couple years older than me.
I'm starting to see where this is going.
Exactly. So he owns a couple properties. He's doing the Section 8 method. At that time, I don't know what the hell I don't even know what the hell real estate is, right? So he owns houses. So I'm asking him, okay, talk to me. How much did you pay for these houses? Because I'm trying to figure something out. I'm scrambling right now. And he's like, man, you got to have, down payments for this. These are the different types of loans.
Yeah.
I ain't got no money, bro.
Yeah, you need some chicken up front.
I don't got no money. I just graduated. He's the one who sparked the idea. He doesn't even know this. He sparked the idea of real estate into me. So now I'm trying to search up on YouTube. Okay, how do I get into real estate, with low, like zero money? And then boom, I came across a video that you actually had on YouTube, right? Wow. And then after I seen it on YouTube, I went to go search your name on Instagram just to verify everything.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Small world, man. It's so crazy how, like, with social media, YouTube, TikTok, just content in a whole, like, you can connect with people across the globe, which is so crazy. I know there's people watching this right now as well in different places in the country, maybe even out the country, being, getting inspired by this. So these are the great conversations to have. Let's talk about, you trying wholesaling by yourself and, you doing it with the system as we partnered up together when you started working with me.
Yeah.
What was the difference? Like, were you able to gain more clarity? Did you even close the deal before we started working with each other, or how did that work?
Okay, so 4 months, I'm doing it by myself, right? I'm driving for dollars. I'm mostly driving for dollars. I'm doing like super cheap methods, maybe pulling a list here or there, but I didn't really know how to work it, right? And that's when I figured out I didn't know all about building a pipeline, the 90-day sequence to build your pipeline. I just thought, call a seller, boom, lock it up, right? Then that's when I locked in with you, and you would just tell me simple things that just as a beginner, you just won't know, right? Like building up your pipeline. Okay, you're telling me one of the biggest things I took from you were you're not counting I wasn't counting my KPIs, right?
Yeah, KPIs.
And I was like, KPIs? What the hell is that, right?
Yeah.
And you just kind of break it down for me and make it into a system, because I was just willy-nilly out here trying to,
So going from just running around free terrain, trying to do anything and everything. Right. I think you even say you're driving for dollars a lot too, right? And having a system, something that was kind of built and streamlined along the way. So you were saying pretty much someone like yourself who comes from a D1 background, if someone just gives you the play, hands it to you, you know how to run the game, and that helped you out, you would say. Yeah,
that's a great correlation, right? Because obviously I always had coaches. I always had, they would make my schedules and I would just come in, plug into the system, right? So basically the same thing with you. Instead, like a new beginner wholesaler, they're just doing their own thing. They don't know about no systems. I tapped in with you, boom, you plugged me into a system.
Okay, so let's talk to the people about this. Like, let's go in depth. Do you recall actually your first deal?
I do.
Okay, so let's talk about, like, where was the deal at? Where were you at? What was the process? Who was the seller? Let's kind of go in depth about that.
Okay, so I'm back in Tampa. I'm living with my mom, right? I'm working at the psychological law firm. This is I closed my first deal around June 2024. So this is like early 2024. I'm driving around, like I said, driving for dollars. I found this house, reached out to the lady. She didn't even call me. She didn't even respond at that moment. I left a text, right? 3 months later, She gives me a text, hey, I think I'm ready to go. Are you still looking to buy?
Really?
And I was just random number. I didn't save nobody's numbers. I didn't know. I wasn't on. I didn't have like a KP or a CRM, right? It's just on my Google Voice number. So I was like, yeah, I'll come by later today. I don't even know the address. And I was like, can you remind me the address again? So I met up with the lady. I remember I'm still really good friends with her today, right? Met up with the lady. She's basically like, are you a bird dog? And I'm like, what's a bird dog? And I guess that's like another word for like a wholesaler. She's like, and she basically breaks down wholesaling. And I'm trying to lie. I'm like, nah, I'm actually the one buying it. She's like, you know, I'm trying to run the place. She's like, you look kind of young. And I don't encourage anybody to like lie, but I was new. I didn't know any better, right? And she's like, you look kind of young. She's like, I don't care. And I tell her the truth. I'm like, yeah, I am. I work with a lot of investors, and she's cool with it. And she's like, she's helping me write out my contract.
Wow.
Yeah. So I get it locked up for 183. I was supposed to. I found a buyer for like 191. This
is a house.
Yeah, this is a house.
Okay.
This is a house in Tampa. Found a buyer for 191. Again, I didn't know any better. I walked away with $4,300 on the deal. I was supposed to walk away with like $8,000 on the deal.
Yeah.
Right? He made me pay all the closing costs for both sides. I didn't know any better. But yeah, I closed my first deal for $4,300. Proof of concept was solidified then.
Yeah. Definitely. And it kind of sounds like you had a little bit of hiccups, but I think you kind of went a little bit off the system, guys.
Yeah.
But I mean, the fact that you still were able to secure the deal.
Yeah.
And, you know, let's kind of talk about post-deal closing, because I feel like that's when you really were able to be like, hey, Randy, like, I'm completely done doing my own thing. Like, let's talk about CRMs, let's talk about this and I have more money to invest in this.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the structure. Like, you know, you got your LLC, you got your website, you know, what software did you start investing in? I believe you even had like a $23,000 deal that closed that following year, you know, from expanding on what you did in the beginning. Let's talk about that.
Before I even closed on it, right, I knew it was in the process of closing. I quit my job, right?
Wow.
I don't recommend anybody to do that. I had total faith in it. I seen it happening. So I quit my job, and in 2 weeks, it closes, right? So I got $4,300 in my account now. That's all I got to rock with.
Yeah.
So I'm putting all that money back into different lists. I'm going all in, right?
Let's talk about it. Softwares. Let's talk about the dialers. Let's talk about the CRM you use.
So at this point in time, probably only have like a Podio at the time. I had a deal machine at the time. I had and then I had like a whiteboard. I didn't really have much, and then I probably had like a PropStream account. And I'm just pinging back and forth out of all these platforms all day long. I'm inside cold calling, like all day long.
Yeah.
And then that's when things start to click because I'm starting to build my pipeline, right? The 90-day sequence. You got to build your pipeline. And then shortly after, man, I think I closed like 2 or 3 deals in like 1 month. Like shortly after I closed my first deal, and this is when I get the ball rolling.
Yeah,
right?
This is like the fall going into winter, right?
And then one of my biggest deals that I made early on was for $23,000.
Yeah, and that was a land deal, right?
That was it was actually a house, but I sold it to land developers, right? So
but they tore it down.
They tore it.
But the house needed to get torn down, you would say?
It didn't. It's just the maximum value you would get. Because in Tampa, there's such high value areas like $1.2 million homes. So they tore it down. I could have made like $100 grand.
That's crazy.
I didn't know any better. But they tore it down. I sold it to them for $23,000 above.
So you'd say, going from, I think you would say like that summer, closing your first deal for 4.3, we were working with each other like around that spring. And just in a fast, vicinity of time, you were able to start scaling, do multiple deals, even having a $23,000 deal. Having access to a system, someone like myself, you were working alongside, I was helping you run the numbers, activate more leads, get the deals under contract, even finding cash buyers. Would you say that, tremendously help you scale faster?
Oh, for sure, bro. You can do it by yourself. I always tell people you can do it by yourself.
Yeah.
But like, if I didn't have someone like you or someone who knew what they were doing, like a mentor, you know what I mean? Like, my learning gap would have took so much longer. I probably would have been doing, what I'm doing now years later, if that makes sense. So like, yeah, getting somebody who knows actually what they're doing. There's a lot of fake gurus out there, guys.
Yeah, they are.
But getting someone who knows actually what they're doing, and one key thing that stood about you is you were actually doing wholesale deals yourself. You actually was running a business, not just selling courses, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, shorten up the curve by tremendously.
Yeah, that's what's up. That's crazy. All right, so we're in 2026 now, right? We've been working together for a year now as a full-time partnership. We have scaled tremendously. I think we've sold, $10 million worth of real estate last year alone. And the projections for this year is going to be 7 figures plus with the revenue and assignment fees. What's going on? You kind of tell the people what we have kind of cooking up now.
Yeah. So, I'm excited, bro. I'm super excited, especially from where we were when we first got started, right? And putting our business together and where we currently are now. It's a lot to be excited about, man. We got about 10 employees working for us full time.
Yeah. Across the world.
Across the world, right? It's just amazing, like for coming from, where I come from, even where you come from as well. Just you're responsible. Like people are counting on you to feed their families, right? So tremendous responsibility that you have as owners of this company. So right now, our biggest thing is to streamline everything. That way, me and you don't really have to be involved working inside the business
kind of
as
like
much.
firing ourselves.
Exactly, firing ourselves in a sense, right? And when I say fire ourselves, it's not meaning that we're off to Cancun just enjoying the beach and the sun, right? But we want to be great operators, meaning we're in control, we're managing our people's, so we can get the most out of our company.
We even just hired a transactional coordinator. I guess you can give the people kind of details on what it looks like to scale, how we've been able to delegate and be able to do more deals just by hiring, her to the team.
Right, because when it was just me and you, we had like a couple of different VAs, right? We were doing a lot of the work, right?
Yeah.
We were, getting the deals locked up. We were selling the deals, right? But now it's like we can do more volume because we got disposition guys. We're even looking for another disposition person, right? So if anybody, has a disposition manager or wants to come tag along, send us a DM. But yeah, we can do more deals because they're managing it. Yeah. They're handling everything. And now we're just making sure we
kind of overseeing.
Yeah, we're just making their jobs easier, right? So if it was just me and you, we can only do about, 30, 40 deals, right? But now it's a whole team. It's a whole team of us. We can do 150 deals, no problem, right?
Hundreds of deals.
Yeah, so that's the great thing. Even just something as small that you just said, transaction coordinator. Dude, you know how much work goes into paperwork?
A lot,
Making sure that, the sellers have what they need. The buyers have what they need. The title company has what they need.
Especially as we're doing a lot of innovation deals this year.
It's a lot that goes into this, right? That people don't know. So like we're better off just, hiring these different people, like our transaction coordinator. That just bought back our time.
Yeah.
Right? So super important. I'm super excited just to see how it, just the progress that we've made so far. Dude, I'm so excited to see what next year's gonna hold, right?
Yeah, 1,000%, man, 1,000%. And I mean, before we get this wrapped up, just kind of give a message to the people, because it's kind of crazy. I mean, even looking back at myself, I started wholesaling around 2020. Okay. And 2021 was where I closed my first deal, actually, but I learned about it 2020. And just to see how much I've grown in this fast period of time, it seems like a long period of time, but 5 years goes by really fast, guys. And it's kind of crazy being able to work along people like yourself. I mean, without this business, we probably wouldn't even have ran into each other. Just kind of, a message to the people. What is something that you would recommend or something they should look forward to, or maybe talking about in a sense of having just structure or whatever that can, benefit them against that next level? Right.
Well, for me, because obviously we run a business now, and we're helping people close their first deals, right? So one of the two biggest things that I think is just coming in with the right mentality, right? Coming in with the mentality that, you're not going to quit until you get it done, right? And then to piggyback off that is to have the right system, right? There's thousands of different methods on how you can close your first wholesale deal, right? As a beginner, you're really not gonna know which one's the best. But if you tap into with Randy and a system that Randy has, it's super easy. Like there's not much you have to think. It's like dummy proof. You come in, you follow his system, and then you will close your first deal. So that's one of the two biggest things that I think, just mentality and plugging into the correct system.
Solid.
Now, guys, if you're someone out there who's watching this video and you're interested in wholesaling, me and my business partner has catered and made a system directly for you, where literally anybody can come in and have all the tools and all the correct systems that they need to close their first $10,000 check. And not only that, continue to do big size deals every single month, and very soon replacing your job with wholesaling real estate full time. Now, if this is something that you're interested in, don't wait. Click on the link below, and me or one of my team members will go ahead and reach out to you and see if you would be a good fit for our system. Also, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe to this video, as I got a lot more fire content and gems on the way for you.
And guys, it's pretty much it right there. This was a great video we have right here. I'm glad I got to talk to my guy Harwin, gain a little more insight on what his thoughts are, his past is, and most importantly, give you guys an insight, because real life conversations like this, real life testimonials come from people who didn't know anything at all, scaling their business to the next level, not just for themselves, but for their family, and really creating generational wealth. Conversations like this are super important, and they're meant to be had. And I appreciate you having me.
For sure, bro. It's a pleasure, bro.
Definitely. Catch you on the next one.
Yes, sir.